Here's the Liberals talking about affordable housing for a while. We start in 2017.
Years of hard work have culminated in the National Housing Strategy, a robust, comprehensive, life-changing plan to help Canadians get into homes and stay there.
How did that work, and why do the Liberals keep winning? Does anybody in Canada even care? Man, just keep voting the same party in. Maybe something will change.
The National Housing Strategy represents a once-in-a-generation $40 billion vision of how we can protect the affordability of the current affordable housing stock in Canada, build 4 times as many units as the past decade.
How did that work?
Repair 3 times as many units as the past decade.
How did that work?
And reduce chronic homelessness by 50%.
And how did that work? Oh my gosh. Homelessness must be up a massive percentage since 2017. I mean, it's probably through the absolute roof. I'm not even going to look it up if you want. It's just so obvious, that one. They're all obvious. The housing costs, boom. But the homelessness, it's everywhere. Every city, even cities that aren't even that big, have huge homelessness problems. Look, it's funny, but it's obviously not, because a lot of people's lives have been ruined with like the inability for Canada to get their housing prices under control. Woo! Okay, we'll move on to another clip. Okay, this is actually not going to be chronological order. That was the plan at the beginning, but I found this one, 2015, and we're going to go back 2 years.
Skyrocketing house prices in various markets across the country are causing concern.
Canada would love to be back in 2015, the home prices. We would love these skyrocketing house prices.
Canadians are looking to party leaders for reassurance. Stephen Harper continues to make Canada's high homeownership rate a key talking point on the campaign trail.
Why did he ever get voted out? What was the point of that? Is it because he wanted people not to wear a hijab when they became Canadian citizens? Why did he lose? Things were fine. Things were, if you think things are better now than when they were under Stephen Harper, you just have crazy liberal derangement syndrome. Things were so much better in 2015 in Canada. That's just a fact. That is a totally non-negotiable, non-debatable fact.
He wants to increase by $10,000 the amount first-time buyers can withdraw from their RSP. He also vows to collect data on how foreign buyers are affecting the Canadian housing market. Thomas Mulcair has vowed to increase affordable housing for young Canadians trying to get into the housing market in places like Vancouver and Toronto. He has also hinted at
those places have gone to the moon since this.
Incentives for the private sector when it comes to the construction of private, affordable housing projects. Justin Trudeau has promised to address the issue of housing affordability in Canada.
How did that go, Justin Trudeau? This thing's true. Don't have a million. This sign from this woman. In Vancouver and Toronto, that could almost be like a 2 or 3, or in Vancouver, it could almost be a 4.
He's also focused on rental and seniors housing, promising to work with local governments to make sure all Canadians have a safe place to live.
I mean, Trudeau totally botched all of that. Whatever he did had either the complete opposite effect, or he just didn't even really prioritize it and didn't care. Or he just, whatever he tried to do, it obviously did not work. We move on. Here's one from 2018, just a short one.
Some of our big cities have had their populations double and their boundaries expand.
Why did the populations double? The immigration thing in 2018 was not even totally ballooned yet. Right now it's even worse. Just the reckless immigration is one of the worst things that probably a country has ever done, because it was just an unforced error in Canada. Things were going well. Let's just flood the country with immigrants. Not good for anybody.
As a result, the demand for things like affordable housing and efficient transit remains high.
I wonder why that is. Probably because there's millions more people. Here's one from 2019, shortly before the 2019 federal election, which Trudeau again won. What is happening?
Adrian Vicente, her partner.
There's another terrible politician, Jagmeet Singh. Him and Trudeau are very similar in their skill, which I would give like a 1 out of 100.
Partner and her 4-year-old daughter have been trying to find a decent place to live in downtown Ottawa for 2 years.
We haven't been able to find a place that we can afford, at least realistically, in terms of being able to feed ourselves and having savings and making sure other things are in check.
It was
many such cases, and things just have not gotten better in 10 years now. It's inexcusable. And Jagmeet Singh, oh my gosh. He didn't do anything. And here's Buddy in 2020.
And our government is taking action to change that. Since 2015, we've created a national strategy to make housing a priority, with thousands of units constructed and provided affordable housing for over 1 million people.
And things only got way worse for most people. Maybe there's 1,000 cases you could point to where something happened. Things got way worse for the majority of Canadians, for sure. Again, non-negotiable.
We took this issue seriously since forming government, and now that the pandemic has made housing needs more acute, we're stepping up again.
Maybe you shouldn't have locked everything down.
Last month, Minister Hussein announced an investment of $1 billion for the new Rapid Housing Initiative. The goal of the program is to give the most vulnerable a safe place to live by quickly creating up to 3,000 new affordable housing units.
Sounds good. How'd it work? This was 5 years ago, roughly? Man, moving on. And here's Buddy in 2021.
To begin with, we'll help you buy your first home sooner. We'll get you to a down payment faster with a plan worth tens of thousands of dollars when you buy your first home, and the launch of a new rent-to-own program.
Sounds great. How'd that work? How did all these things work? 2022?
Obviously, Sean and Carolyn have a beautiful home here that they bought a number of years ago. But there's a recognition that as families look to get into the housing market right now, it's getting more and more difficult. And even as families save up and work hard, every passing year seems to get housing further and further away from them. And that's one.
And who is in office? Again, and who still is in office? I think Canada will keep electing Liberals, by the way. I don't think it's going to change. The way too many people in Canada just think it's cringe to vote Conservative. I don't get it. Here's a news clip from 2023.
All right, so we're following this live event for you. Justin Trudeau is in Vaughan, Ontario. It's a big suburb north of Toronto. Stephen Del Duca there is the mayor of Vaughan. Big announcement on housing. This is part of a series of announcements the government has been coming out with recently to show that they are trying to deal with the affordability crisis, the housing crisis in our country. You're watching CTV News.
A lot of announcements. These announcements are very good, right? Now for 2024, and then there's Sean Fraser, who at some point was the Minister of Housing in the background there. I'm going to play one video from him just after this one. So bad. That guy I do not think is a good politician whatsoever.
I'm really excited about this announcement today because Canadians need homes they can afford. This is one of the most urgent issues that people are facing.
Yeah, we know. We've been hearing it for now at least 9 years from Liberals, and you specifically. We're in 2024. Things are only getting worse. The whole time they've been getting worse. And then this one's actually from the tail end of 2023. At the time, I thought this was pathetic. I still do. This is then Minister of Housing, Sean Fraser.
We are living in a housing crisis, but it's not the first time Canada's been here. After the Second World War, when many thousands of soldiers were returning home to be reunited with their families at once, Canada faced enormous housing crunches. One of the tools that was deployed at the time to respond.
Cool history, bro.
to the challenges they faced at that particular point in time was the development of simple pre-approved designs by Wartime Housing Limited. In fact, they adopted designs that many will remember as victory homes or strawberry box homes.
This is just such a weird fantasy. Like, oh, this thing that worked back in like 1940, it's going to work now. Has this even like, is there one home in Canada on these pre-approved plans, these wartime homes? Is there one home like this? And even if there is, like, this didn't work. The housing crisis is still crazy. And this guy now is like the Minister of Justice, I think, or something. I didn't follow, but he came out with some hate speech bill. I don't know what the heck it's going to be. It's probably just like bad, like everything else the Liberals have been doing lately. But anyway, I'll finish it there. We got, well, I mean, in 2025, of course, there's still talk about fixing the crisis. I could play a clip. I guess I'll finish with one just for fun. And final one for this video. This is 2025.
Until the trade war began, one of the most pressing issues in the country was the housing crisis.
It's still the housing crisis. Way more important than the trade war.
The federal government has...
If you have a house, maybe it's not. But what about your kids? Again, if you don't have a house, the housing crisis is way more important than the trade war. Anyway, I'll finish it there, but just 10 years of this. We'll see what happens. I'm not hopeful, to be totally frank. At least in the short term, I'm not hopeful. Kind of to be a buzzkill. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.